Haha, helps if I unmute my microphone. Hopefully you all can hear me. Let's get some music going here. Alright, just gonna give it a little bit, let some people roll in. Alright guys, well this is the first ever DemDMs actual live stream. Welcome. Just gonna let people roll in a little bit more. But yep, today is my first ever solo stream, so we'll see how this goes. But yeah, so I guess let's give it a little bit more. We got 5 viewers. Oh, we got 6 viewers. Yeah, screw it. We'll start now. So this is a project that I've started on my own for past couple months now. I was doing it on my own, and Matt and I were talking about bringing this back, bringing the channel back, and I figured, hey, might as well live stream what I've been doing with this, this little side project, right? This little 1PageRPG. So yes, that's what the working title is right now for this system. It's called 1PageRPG. The idea is for it to fit on the front, each player, the player guide will fit on one page, and I don't mean like an 8.5 by 11. I mean like a 20. What would it be? 22 by 8.5 or something like that. Actually, I can pull up the design document for it as well. There we go. So this is my working title that I've been working on. So yeah, I'm trying to fit this on the front and back of a single. Of course, it's pixels, not. Of course, it'd be pixels and not. Can we convert it to pixels? File. Yeah, whatever. But you get the picture. It's going to be basically it's the size of two 8.5 11s by next to each other. So 8.5 by 22 or something like that, I think, is the desired specification, or whatever it is that whatever page size that book pages, like the DMG, whatever size pages those are printed on. So basically, the system is going to consist of two pages, one for players and one DM, and everything is going to fit onto so everything for the players is going to fit on one page, everything for the DM is going to fit on one page. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm going to adjust my camera down a little bit. All right. So yeah, why don't we just get started? Put this off to the side. People are blowing up my phone. Ah, thank you, Fox. 11 by 17. So this is what I've worked on so far. No spells yet. Oops. Yeah. I've been mostly focused on features, class features, right? So instead of how 5th edition handles things, I'm going for more of like a it's open to what you want to do, right? Like let's take Fighter for example in 5th edition, right? You are required to take like second wind at first level, right? Well, who says I want second wind as a fighter, right? I don't care. Let me take something else that's cooler, right? So that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. So basically, all your leveling, you just get feature slots and ability score improvements, right? And all the classes work this way, like not just fighters. So we're going 4 class. We're keeping this simple, right? I don't want to pigeonhole people into be like, oh, you have to play this class in a certain way, right? So like, trying to keep it open for, whatever you want to build, right? But I am trying to keep it simple. So, oopsies. So I'm going with 4 classes. I'm not even sure if I included that in my general rules document yet. Oh yeah, I guess that is one thing. Each class does have its own, so class abilities. So our classes here are Warrior, Scout, Priest, and Mage. So Fighter, right, for my 5th or D&D people, Fighter, Rogue, Cleric, and Wizard, right? But we're only going two ability scores for this. Body and mind. That's all we're doing. Hit points. I'm trying to think about how I want to do hit points right now, and I think that's actually where I want to start. So I think we're gonna ignore this. So I had gone through hit points before, and it wasn't real. Well, yeah. I guess this is just Anyway, I want to rethink hit points, because originally I was going to do hit points like 5th edition or anything like that. You get a hit die per your class, and that was going to be all you get, right? But now, where was my train of thought? Oh yeah. So at first I was thinking about doing hit dice like in 5th edition, 3.5, whatever. Then I started doing stuff with the design of weapons, and stuff like that. That's made me reconsider hit points. So I want to talk about that as we go through here tonight. I do see in chat someone asking what made me want to create a new system. Well, that's a great question. I have been dissatisfied with 5th edition for quite some time now. I know the timing of it right now is, kind of interesting with the whole 1D&D and the whole OGL debacle, right? But this was something that I had thought about, oh boy, several years ago, right? And after watching some other content creator, Dungeons and Dragons content creators on here, like Dungeoncraft, Professor Dungeon Master, I was heavily inspired by his content to start trying to write my own system. And I actually do plan on using his terrain system, his ultimate dungeon terrain system, in this as like the core mechanic for combat. So I don't plan on having this as a gridded combat system. I may include rules for gridded combat in the Dungeons Master page, or I guess can't call it Dungeon Master, the Game Master page. Ooh, maybe that's something. Maybe we should call it a Page Master. There we go. But I hope that answers your question. But that does actually make me think about something else. Is, you know, some of you guys out there might be wondering, oh, who's this, you know, nobody, right? That's like, oh, out here, like, I'm gonna go design a game. Well, part of my background is actually in game development. I went to school for game design and development. So I have a bachelor's of science. Now it's for video game development, but you know, part of the classwork was in fact designing board games, because what's a video game but a digitalized board game, right? I jest. So I want to jump into my kind of thought process here, right? So this is, you know, obviously the gimmick of this is that I wanted everything to be on one page, right? And I realized with, like, weapons that I can't just have a table of weapons, right? Like, that would take up the space of a whole page like it does in the, well, maybe not in the 5th edition book, but in the 3.5 edition book, it takes up an entire page just for the table for weapons in 3.5, right? And I wanted to have that variety that you get in 3.5, as many of you know, or any returning viewers that have watched our videos discussing 5th edition, you'll know that we are we all started in 3.5, and so, you know, I was going through and I was just like, okay, how can I condense an entire table into like a paragraph? And my thought was like having features. So this is kind of a handwritten thing that I was doing, right? So basically you have weapon category. I was thinking, oh, weapon categories and different features, get them, like, increase or decrease the damage die. I'm just like, timeout. I'm overcomplicating this. Like, if you look at the average, because I like math, right? If you look at the average damage of most weapons are a D6, a D8, or a D10, right? In 5th edition. And, you know, if you round up, that's 3, 4, and 5. So, for the most part, you're only doing 2 more points of damage on average. Well, and then let's extrapolate that to, like, daggers versus like a greatsword, right? Yeah, that average. I mean, the average on a greatsword is still 7. It's still only 7, I believe. Yeah. I put that into any dice the other day, and then the average of a dagger is 2, rounded up. So okay, yeah, that's 5 points of damage, right? But how often does like in 5th edition, right? It's so frustrating when you like are just chipping at a monster's hit points, right? And you're like 1 off because the damage rolls are just not there, right? And it's just, it's an illusion of choice, right? When it comes to your damage die, right? It's just an illusion. It doesn't, like, a lot of people get hung up on, oh, I need to have this damage die or this damage die, when in reality your score is really what's gonna improve how much damage you're doing, right? Or at least it wasn't 3.5. I guess 5th edition is not as so because it's, you don't multiply your your strength or dex score. but still, like, the amount of... Like, let's say you're fighting a goblin or something, right, that has, what is it, 7 hit points? A short sword and a great sword are gonna do equally fine when you have things that have such low HP, right? And then when you have larger creatures, it's taking so long to whittle them down anyway that, like, slight variations in your max hits don't really matter because it's taking so long to kill the thing anyway, right? So that's what got me thinking of, what if we use, and I believe I saw something about this a long time ago, I can't remember whose channel it was, talking about minion rules, right? Where you have a fully statted out creature, right? Or you take, you know, like, let's say you want a minion that is a hobgoblin, right? You take the hobgoblin stat block, but it only has 1 HP, right? So, like, it's enough to distract the party into combat, and then it dies because someone's like, I'm gonna whack it, so you whack it and it's dead, right? I'm like, one of my biggest complaints with 5th edition and even 3.5 is how slow combat is. I want combat to be like, you know, an action movie, or like, as Professor Dungeon Master said, like Legolas, you know, surfing down the stairs on the shield, shooting dudes with arrows, right? In 5th edition, you can't have that, right? Because everything has, you know, an orc has, you know, so many hit points, and you're not gonna one-shot it, and it's not gonna be epic, right? You're not gonna have this epic adventure if you're just standing there just whacking at something round after round after round, right? So I was like, now this might upset a lot of people who like to collect dice, but I was thinking, for this system, you only have 1 die. All you use is the D20. That's all you need, is a D20. And I think I like it. It simplifies combat. It simplifies what you need to play, right? And you still can get your crits and stuff like that, right? And this also solves the other issue that I have with Dungeons and Dragons, is especially 5th edition. 3.5 not so much, but especially 5th edition. Once you get above 5th or 6th level, your characters are basically unkillable, right? Unless you throw random bullshit go. Oops. Am I allowed to curse? It's been 15 minutes. I think I can curse. But yeah. I want there to be a sense that characters can die, but I also want characters to feel really awesome and be able to just, like, murk a whole bunch of orcs or goblins or bandits or whatever, what have you, right? But also have a system that is flexible enough to have, you know, your bigger big bad evil guys and stuff like that, right? So basically, I don't know what I'm gonna call it yet. I'm thinking wound counter or something like that. So, like, every time you take a hit, you get a wound, right? Instead, or whatever. Naming is unimportant at the moment. So now the question is, how do I determine how many hits you take, right? Yeah, I totally need to rework this. I mean, I do want to keep this you know, the whole bleeding out mechanic, right? Because we technically kind of have that in 5th edition, right? With death saves, right? Oh, I hate death saves too, by the way. I think they're easy way out. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna try and work through here. I'm thinking that we don't... As a part of leveling, I don't want us to... I don't want the characters in this game to be constantly getting more and more hit die. So what I'm thinking is at the character creation... Or hit die, oh my god. Hit points. Let's just call it hit points for now, right? I want character hit points to be set from the very start. And it's gonna... I want it to be tied to classes. But I'm not sure how I want to do that yet. So I was looking at... So I just have some... I do a lot of handwritten notes to myself. Oh yeah. here's the note at the top of the page. No damage dice, only d20s. Or d20 only. So... I mean, I think I'm gonna try and utilize the hit dice of yesteryear, right? Potentially. To determine the... how many hit points you get, right? But that's just not... That's gonna be a part of, you know, picking an arbitrary number, right? Instead of just picking an arbitrary number, try to math this out a little bit, I suppose. So, in my previous iteration of hit points here, I was gonna go with, was I gonna go with D4? Actually, where's that? No. Is that not written down? Give me one sec, guys. Alright, my one-page RPG notebook. That's just ideas. I need to find... I never typed up the table for leveling. So this is a 10 level system. Not a 20 level system. Is this it? Or is this previous iterations? I do lots of iterations of... I iterate and I iterate and I iterate. I don't think this is it. I don't think that was it either. It must be the table I have written here. That goes to 20. Wait, is this the one that's symmetrical from... Yes, okay. Yeah, so my initial iteration was to have, use the average hit die of, you know, like warrior is a D12. The average of that rounded up is 7, right? Yes. Okay. Yeah, so D12. D12 for warrior, D... I think the wrong page again. Yeah, D12, D8 and D6 or D4? D4, okay. D12, D8, D4 for the original hit die, and it was just gonna be a, you know, progression. Every level you get the average of your hit die, right? And add it to your total hit points. But I realized by 10th level, like, it's still gonna be quite a bit of hit points, right? Like, your warrior's gonna have 70, your scout and your priest are gonna have 50, and your mage is gonna have 30. And like most things, yeah. You guys get where I'm going with this. It's the danger's not there, guys. The danger is just not there once you start getting to those higher levels of hit points, right? Like right now in my current 5th edition game that I'm running, my players are level 6 and they have on average 45 HP, right? Except for the rogue. Poor rogue. And so like, it feels like I have to homebrew overpowered shit to make anybody sweat, right? Like, I'm not saying that, like, what's the fun in playing a game when there are no stakes for failure, right? Like, this is what makes Dungeons and Dragons fun, is like, oh, if I fail, this might go horribly, horribly wrong for me, right? You know, there's that excitement there, right? And yeah, you guys, I'm sure everyone that watches this channel shares similar views on that. So, yeah, we need to determine today. I would like to determine by the end of today how many hit points players are going to receive. I think the best way to determine that is to maybe let me pull up. Well, one of the other problems is that I also don't necessarily have like the armor class worked out. So can I really? I mean, I guess everything could just be arbitrary, right? Like we can balance this later, I suppose. So yeah, let's just. I don't think we have to do too hard of math here, guys. Don't want to overthink this. Or maybe that's the problem, is that Dungeons & Dragons balancing is not overthought enough nowadays, and that's why everything's just stupid powerful. So, where's my pen? So I'm thinking we do. I should get a hand cam for like where I have my. Well, if you guys continue watching content like this, maybe I will get myself a hand cam. 33. Yes. 5 what? 5 hot dogs? I mean, yeah, I was... So 5 is a D8. So the way I was thinking about going about how to determine how many hit points you get is thinking about how many. Oh yeah, that's actually a great way to think about it, right? So let's say you have 2 equally matched parties excuse me, equally matched parties of players against each other, right? So for all intents and purposes, let's say it has like a... Actually, I guess it doesn't even matter how many... what percent chance of hitting each other would be. I guess at that point, it's just a matter of how many... Actually, yeah, it does. Let's just say that for right now, half the attacks hit. So let's say how many rounds of combat do we want? And let's just assume that everyone's hitting each other for 1 hit point, right? I think I will be adding mechanics later that let you like let's call it cleave for right now. I don't think we can call it cleave, where like, you know, like a greatsword, right, might be able to do 2 points of damage when it hits, right? And maybe you can split that, I don't know. Now that I think about it, yeah, I don't want you to be able to split that. Greatsword's only... Yeah. Anyway. So let's say that 50% of the attacks are hitting, and let's say that we want... So I guess the real question is, how many rounds of combat do we want? How many rounds of combat do we feel like we want to have our combat last for, right? Like, do we want it to last 5 rounds? Do we want it to last 1 round? I don't think we want it to last 1 round. Or 10 rounds. Let's see. How long do I usually have? So, put things in perspective. In 5th edition, right? A round is 6 seconds. 10 rounds would be a minute. Most combats that I can think of, so like, just thinking about my previous session where there was spiritual weapon going, that lasts a minute, I believe. Could be wrong. Let me double check that. Da-da-da. 1 minute, yes. Okay. So, basically, in 5th edition, right, you run combat and seldom... Actually, thinking back to other times that I've actually been a player and had spiritual weapon, I think I've only... And trust me, I use spiritual weapon almost every combat, or combat encounter if I have access to it. I think in the entire span of Tomb of Annihilation, yeah, I think my spiritual weapon lasted less than the length of combat. Or wait, combat was always shorter than a minute, is what I'm trying to say, right? I think I only had 1 encounter where my spiritual weapon ran out, right? So I definitely think we want to keep it under 10 rounds of combat, right? Maybe we create a new text document here. So rounds of average rounds of combat counter is less than 10. So I feel like there's going to be some sweet spot in there that is, you know, because obviously 1 or 2 rounds of combat is going to be a little too short, right? You can't really set yourself up to do anything wild and crazy, right? I'm feeling 5. My gut says 5, but 5's also a nice round number. Actually, I was just thinking about that the other day, how different people see different numbers as round. Anyway, But I also feel like 7 might be an even better. I don't know. I don't know why 7's speaking to me. I guess I do gotta figure out what I want to go with. Actually, if we go over to the rules. Have I written down the? Oh, I haven't even written down the magic rules. So now I gotta explain to you all how magic works. So in this system, and shout out to PandaGhost who is the one that put this harebrained idea in my head. Instead of having spell slots and the like, why don't we make it mana based? So like you would start with, have I written down how much mana I want people to start with? No, I have not. Alright, I haven't even determined that. That's fine. We don't need to know that right now either. But basically, you would have different spells that cost different mana costs, right? And every round you generate mana, which is 1 point of mana. So the idea is like, let's just spitball here and say that a fireball is 5 mana cost, right? I don't know what it's actually going to be. This is why the spell description page is blank, guys. So basically, yeah, let's say you have 6 mana, like your mana pool is at 6, and you cast a fireball, which is 5, you have 1 mana left, right? Next turn rolls around, you now have 2 mana because you've regenerated one bit of mana, and let's just say you want to do a firebolt, which is 1 mana, right? So you would spend 1 mana, you're at 1, you shoot your firebolt, next round, your mana's back, you're back up to 2. Like that's how the system would work. So I guess the max mana does matter for this, because, well, no, screw it, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Because we know the regeneration speed. The regeneration speed is not going to change. It's always going to be 1 mana, right? It's always going to be 1 mana. So I'm going to go back to this document and say less than or equal to 10. Because I'm thinking about this now, right? If you're hitting, well, yeah, if you're hitting half the time, right? I think that Rod of 7 Parts might be onto something. Because earlier I was saying, oh, let's just assume that you're hitting 50% of the time. Well, that would mean that your HP is 5. If we're trying to, basically it's a stalemate at the end of 10 rounds, that would give you 5 HP. Very, very interesting. However, now the next thing we gotta think about is the average number of encounters per day, right? This complicates things, because I don't want to design a system where your players are tapped out, right, after 1 combat, right? That would be that would be ridiculous, right? So let's do a little programming. well, not programming actually, but let's do CT combat. So average per day. So basically what we want to do is we want to multiply our oops. Where'd my music go? Equals our average HP per player. Yes. Alright, there we go. So this is what we're trying to determine, our average HP per player, right? And assuming that, you know, you have party of 4, right? Yeah, assuming party of 4, 1 of each class, right? So, I guess the next question is, what do we think the average encounter per day should be? And I'm getting hot in this Gambison, so I'm going to take it off. Alright. Well, obviously I think 10 encounters per day is going to be a little excessive. Trying to think who I usually design for my 5th edition. Well, sometimes it's a single encounter day. Like on travel, I usually just do 1 encounter per day of travel. But when we're in dungeons, try not to spoil anything because we might bring back the play series. If you guys want us to bring back the play series, give a like and subscribe on this live stream. Shameless plug. Let's see. There's the one at the front entrance. There's the final encounter. And then there was encounter in the hallway. Damn it. Why does everything keep coming back to 5? Let's do the last session. There was, well, the encounter there, final encounter outside, and then... Okay, I guess we're doing 5 encounters per day, because everything seems to be coming up with 5. Let's make this easy and say 3 to 5, right? 3 to 5 encounters per day. Average of that would be 4. So 4. So hitting 50% of the time, so 20. I'm getting, yeah. Oh, I guess that's not the right, that's not correct. That'd be... times 0.5. There we go. So distribute this. So obviously each player, wait, hold on. No, I gotta divide that. That's total party hit points is 20. So divide that by 4 gives you 5. It all comes back to 5. But that's the average per party member, right? I feel like I'm doing something wrong here, guys. Send help. Well, hold on. Oh yeah, it is 20. I'm sorry. Because this is per player. Yeah. Because we're assuming 4 versus 4, which essentially makes it 1 player, right? Let's see, 20 is correct. 20 is correct. I think. So, I guess that tells us that, and we should just keep going with 5s, guys. So, Warrior is going to have 25. Scout. Wait. Yeah, this is right. Is going to have 20. Priest is going to have 20. And Mage is going to have 15. Does that work? Or should I maybe use something a little more... interesting. That is more than what I came up with earlier. What I came up with on, well, thinking about this using dice, right, gave me, what is it, 21, 15, 15, and 9. Which sounded fine until I saw the 9 on the mage, right? And the reason why 9 scares me is because, like, let's say you do have, like, a large, brawl of monsters, right, in one encounter. That could be very detrimental to your mages. Although mages are supposed to be squishy, like you are bending the fabric of reality to, you know, you get what I mean. So at 9, they would a mage would last approximately, if they're getting hit 50% of the time, would last 18 rounds of combat for the entire day before they get knocked to 0. Right? That's how I'm thinking about this, guys. In the other array, they would last 30. That's almost double. But how many attacks are the mages really? If your mage is sitting in the back line, right? How many attacks are they really going to be taking? I mean, I guess if you get caught in an ambush, they might take a bunch. But I mean, the first array that we just came up with now is much cleaner, right? 25, 20, 20, and 15 hit points. Because remember, we're not rolling damage dice, right? We're just rolling d20s to determine if they got hit or not. Kind of on this fine balancing act of what feels good for a single combat versus what feels good for an entire adventuring day, right? Because this would feel way better for an entire adventuring day. This feels way better for a single combat. Maybe. I mean, this would be... And I'm also assuming that attacks are being attacked, you know, each player is being attacked equally, right? Which would not be the case, right? The warrior is going to be, you know, tanking and drawing aggro with the scout, right? While the priest is providing support and the mage is being a show-off. No hate to my wizard and sorcerer players out there. Just like the jab. Let's see here. Oh, does anyone? Oh, my chat's not updating. Good thing I have this up on another screen. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, I was just thinking about that too, there, Fox. Yeah, I do have to think about the. See, now it finally updates. What the hell? Yeah. So there will be healing involved. So I don't know. I'm kind of. I mean, I know we just went through all this work here determining this, right? But I don't know. I kind of like this better. Actually, what? I am curious to see what we get. So 30. 15. So this would turn to 15, right? If we assume 3 encounters per day, right? Which is what we got here, which is in fact the average of. Oh boy. Isn't math fun, guys? Isn't math just fun? Fuck it! Oops, can I say that on stream? Yeah, I think we're gonna go with the crunchier numbers here, guys. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna go with. So warriors, you know, so basically this is how it's gonna work. You create a warrior, and right off the bat, he's got 21 hot dogs, right? You create a scout, right off the bat, they're gonna have 15 hot dogs. Oh my god. All right, now that we got that all situated, we can move on with our lives. So. Don't need that piece of paper. So, going back to the weapons here, I realized that, you know, I kind of went through all these different traits, right? And one of them was reach, right? Because you have reach weapons in 5th edition. But we're doing zone combat, right? So that almost doesn't even leave room for reach weapons in the zone combat, because you're not going to be reaching from zone to zone with a reach weapon. I guess you could. I don't know. It just feels kind of like the whole point of. So maybe no reach weapons, guys. So basically, what I got here. So let's go. keep typing up stuff here, guys. Okay. And I'll put this all in a document later. My allergies are killing me. So weapons. Because what's Dungeons and Dragons, or what's tabletop RPGs without weapons, guys? So honestly, right, that still does matter. So I still want there to be crits, right, guys? Like, obviously on a little minion dude that has 1 HP, a crit isn't gonna matter, right? Because they have 1 HP anyway. But not everything is a minion, right? There are going to be boss monsters and big bad evil guys and dragons and discount beholders, right? So that's when, you know, critting matters, right? That's when having a greatsword that does 2 points of damage matters, right? I know I discussed this. I brought this up briefly with screw you, Fox. I discussed this briefly with Matt, right? About you know, what's the point of having a greatsword, right? If you're doing, you know, because a greatsword in 5th edition, right, is 2d6, and so, you know, that translates into this as 2 points of damage, right? And he had mentioned something about the effects of, oh, maybe you like cleave through your enemies, and, you know, so like if you have 2 guys next to each other, actually, you know what, that still might work. Unless that was a feature that I had already made. Where's my feature list? Oh, that's the other thing, guys. I really like Excel spreadsheets. What does two-handed adept? See, we need to rethink this now, right? Like, this feature now needs rethought, right? Because this was under the assumption that we were going to treat this like D&D, where you deal D6s. So maybe, here's the thought, guys. I can rework this to when you deal damage with a two-handed weapon, you can deal damage to, so like if you deal 1 damage and the monster next to you dies, right? You can carry that onto a creature that is within 5 feet of you and 5 feet of that creature. Similar to, actually it's not really that similar to Cleave in 3.5. Although, did I have something like Cleave already? Yes, I know I'm going fast.
Of all the money that e'er I had, I had spent it in good company.
Okay, I'm gonna skip this song because I do not like, because lyrics are just gonna screw me up in my train of thought. But no, so yeah, I think this works if we, when rolling damage with the two-handed weapon property, carry, is that the right way to spell carry? Do we want to say carry over? This is kind of ambiguous. Rolling damage with carry over damage to another creature. We're just going fast here, guys. Actually, I'm gonna creature, so I can, I don't want to spend too much time, going over semantics and stuff like that, right? Carry over damage to another creature that is within 5. Well, so we don't. I'm thinking in grids still, guys. I'm thinking in grids. That is within your combat zone. Well, okay. Yeah, let's just go with that for now, and I'll come back and fix this wording later, right? Okay. Let's go back over to. Oh, I don't want general rules. I want this. Stream. Session 1. There we go. All right. So weapons are going to fall into 2 main categories, right? Basic, and I want to call them martial, but that's not. Let's just call it trained. Basically, weapons that you have to have experience, be actually trained in using, right? So like this would be swords and axes. Basic weapons would be clubs and spears. So weapons, basic, 14. Okay. So clubs are obviously going to be bludgeoning damage. Spears are going to be piercing damage. Swords, I don't know why I keep saying swords, it's swords. Will be slashing / piercing damage, because swords can stab. And then axes will be slashing damage. And really, at the end of the day, it'll be up to the... So, like I'm just thinking out loud here, right? Like, let's say you have a player that wants to use a halberd, right? Well, a halberd has a spike on the end of it, and then you got the blade, right? Actually, I think most of the time they have a spike on the back too, right? Or they might have a hammer on the back, right? So what does that fall under? I would say it falls under an axe, right? It's primarily slashing, but they can use it, as a spear if they want to stab with it. So that would fall under the spear rules, and the backside would be the hammerhead. Actually, do we want to throw hammers in here? Yeah, sure. Let's throw hammers in here as well. Now, I don't know how I'm going to differentiate these guys now, because going off of... so, basically, this is something that I want to lift from 3.5, right? So, for clubs, because we do this in my campaign right now, we lifted this rule, and I love this rule, right? It makes things interesting. So basically, a nat 20 is, well, it's a little bit different from the 3.5 way. The way we do it in my game, is a nat 20 is an auto crit, just like in 5th edition, right? However, weapons have now crit range. I think we did a video on this. It's like a club is only basic weapons only crit on a 20, and oops, times 2. So like a club and a spear is only going to multiply by 2 whenever you crit with it, right? A sword, I'm going to say this for all swords. I know rapiers are different, but since there's only body, right? You're only using your body skill, right? So there's no differentiating between dex and strength anymore. So a rapier, a long sword, whatever, they're just swords, right? That's why there's a that might be pointless now. Because, you know, the whole differentiating between light and not light weapons is the fact that they are the different damage die, but now we don't have different damage die, so it doesn't matter. Crap. I have to think about that one later. Might just need to get rid of it. That's why it's in red. So the crit range for this will be 19 to 20, and that's going to be a times 2, right? That's how long swords are in 3.5. Axes, they're not going to have a crit range. They're only going to be 3 times. That's how they work in like Great Axe in 3.5 deals 3 times. Hammers. So the reason why I'm putting hammers here and not having as a part of club is using a hammer is a lot like using a blunt axe, right? You have to make sure that you are hitting your target with the blade, or in this case the hammerhead, aimed at the target. Like if you come down sideways with the hammer, it's not going to be as effective, right? That's why I'm treating war hammers here as a trained weapon. But now how do I mean, obviously the damage type is different, right? But do I make it it's either going to be times 3 or 19 to 20 times 2, right? And for those who are wondering, I consider a mace a club, right? Because a mace, the head is symmetrical all the way around. It's just a metal ball on the end of a club, essentially. And the quarterstaff is just a long club, right? I don't know what I want to do about the hammers. Because now it just looks like, you know, if I have hammers here at times 3 and axes here at times 3 and swords is 19 to 20, which the way that works is like, so let's say I roll a 19, I have to roll the d20 again, and if I hit the opponent's armor class, then it's a crit. If I don't hit the armor class, it's just a regular hit. But if you roll the 20, it's still an auto crit. Fox Ghost. What about the back to Corbin? That's... Oh, great. Polearm, one word? So, like, here, like, polearms would be all-encompassing of, like, the Beck-to-Corbin, the, billhook, halberds, right? Yeah. See, this is why I wanted to stream this stuff, because this is, like, kind of, you know, kind of tricky for one lone goober to do on its own, right? So, like I said before about the halberd, right? It might have a hammer on the back, so it's bludgeoning. It might have a, you know, Beck-to-Corbin halberd. They're gonna have piercing, and you know, the glaive is gonna be slashing, right? And a billhook might also be slashing, right? So it's gonna be all three. Screw it. Oops. Let's do it like this. How's that sound? So any kind of polearm. So polearms are always going to be two-handed, right? Okay, anyway. So, what I was just thinking, guys, is do I potentially for polearms, because polearms always gonna be two-handed. Oops. Two-handed, right? Right. And what does two-handed really mean, right? Because we can't remember. This is gonna be all gotta fit on one page. Right? All gotta fit on one page. And so we have to make things as succinct and concise as possible. So, like, basically, my point is you have to have a benefit, right, to not taking a shield, right? And what does that benefit usually? More damage, right? I mean, that's true for tabletop RPGs, that's true for real life, right? Real medieval combat. You're trading off offense for defense. Also, I really don't want to get copyright struck. This song sounds incredibly like the Skyrim theme. even though it's open source. You know, no copyright music, right? Way too close to copyright music, if you ask me. Because now, right now, we're kind of... So, like, one of the goals of this whole system is just to be able to use as plain of English as possible, right? Like, I don't want players to be like... And DMs to be like, oh, it's a... I have this sword that has... I don't know. You get what I mean, right? Like... I just wanted to be simple. Clearly, it's not simple, right? Nothing is in life is simple, right? But like, if I want to be like a player sits down at your table and they're like, I want to use a war scythe, right? So I want there to be like. And maybe this is all stuff that gets put in the dungeon or the page master guide, right? Maybe that's something that this is something that goes in there, right? Is this kind of stuff. But on the other hand, it's just like I don't want players to have to go through all that hassle, you know, working with the DM to be, you know what I mean? Like when you make a character in 5th edition, right? You're like, oh, I want a longsword. I go to the player's handbook, I see what the stats for the longsword are, and there you go, right? So now we're in a conundrum. Because like, so my problem right now is like you have swords and then you have something like a great sword, right, or a long sword that requires 2 hands to use, right? I mean, I guess technically a long sword doesn't, but a great sword does, right? And if I'm, yeah, yeah, a greatsword definitely requires 2 hands to use. A longsword is kind of debatable, and then you get into the whole hand-and-a-half swords versus arming swords versus... But I don't want to debate the etymology of swords right now. Why couldn't everything have been easy like the fucking clubs and spears? Now you guys only get clubs and spears. That's all you get is clubs and spears. Well, I guess this is just general guidelines. Be like, a player is like, oh, I want to use a 2-handed sword. Well, swords can be 2-handed. Axes can't. Okay, yeah. I'm just getting inside my own head, guys. We're all good. We're all good. But polearms obviously must be 2-handed. And then all these other items have the option to be 2-handed. There we go. Problem solved. I don't know why I was overthinking that, guys. I hadn't even been drinking. Okay, haven't really got all that much done this stream so far. It's been an hour and a half almost. Sheesh. All right. you know what? Going back to this feature here, right? This one. I'm just gonna say, you have to take this feat if you want to two-weapon fight. Now, actually, let's think about this though. Right? So say you have two warriors right next to each other, right? I know, you probably shouldn't have a party of with two warriors in it. Whatever. Well, let's say you have a party of 5 people and your party wanted to have 2 warriors. Let's just go with that right now, okay? So the first one has this feature, right? Second one has this feature. Actually, I guess that's fine because they accomplish the same thing in 2 different ways. Yes? Also, I was just thinking about pole arms again. So, the problem with pole arms, right? Which isn't addressed in 5th edition. And I actually saw this great video the other day of, and maybe this is only really a problem with pikes. Maybe it was longsword versus pike, right? And once you get in close with a you deflect a stab from a pike, right? And you just go in for the, you deflect the stab from the pike and then you just go in for the kill, right? So I can't just say that that is a property of... Because at that point, why would you ever pick a polearm over a two-handed sword, or a two-handed axe, or a two-handed hammer, right? If you are at... okay. I'll just use the 5th edition term for right now. If you are at... Basically, what I'm trying to get at is if you're using a polearm, if it... Again, we don't have... I'm thinking of grids again, guys. I'm thinking of grids. So never mind. Doesn't become a problem. If we're not using a grid, it doesn't become a problem. It's not a problem. Never mind. So yeah, just need to work on rewording that later. Made this more succinct, so... Can now fight with any weapon. Now fight with any weapon. Without the two-handed property in now fight with a weapon in each hand as long as it does not have the two-page property. There we go. I'm going down the rabbit hole, guys. I'm going down the rabbit hole. Yeah. I do need to do some more thinking about how to utilize the Ultimate Dungeon Terrain, right? Where it's basically 2 combat zones of ranged and melee, right? It's 2 concentric rings. You guys can look it up, but not right now. Stay and watch. But so basically, the way that I'm thinking about using it is, and I don't know if this is the same way that other people use Ultimate Dungeon Terrain or any kind of zone combat, right? But basically, on your turn, you can move between ranges, and you can move between different combat zones. If you're in melee, and if you're in the melee combat zone, you can use melee, and you're fine. If you're using ranged in the... Oh, crap. We gotta do ranged weapons. Fuck. Alright. Ranged weapons. Basic. Okay, that's one thing that I've always wondered, why like spears are considered simple weapons for throwing. It's not. You have to know what you're doing to throw a fucking spear, guys. Like, oh, probably shouldn't have dropped an F-bomb either. Like, I don't think really any thrown weapon is... I would not consider any thrown weapon a basic weapon, right? And like Fox goes, right? He throws axes for fun. Like, that's not just something that someone can just go pick up an axe and throw it effectively, right? That takes training. So, honestly... The only basic ranged weapon that I can think of is the crossbow. Yeah. Because literally, I mean, obviously you have to know how to aim a crossbow, right? But it's a lot easier to teach someone how, you know, just like pick up, like point it and, right? I mean, obviously it takes more training than that as well, but like, there's gotta be some basic ranged options, right? So crossbow, and then everything else. Dagger. Oh, actually, and then let's make us throne. Actually, screw it. Throne. Bludgeoning. Piercing. Slashing. Because it, you know, there's no difference between throwing an axe and throwing a dagger or a spear, right, in this system, because there's no damage dice. And then bows. I'm just thinking, piercing. Damn it. So crossbows in real life are far more powerful than a traditional bow. Right? Yeah, crossbows are easier to use than regular bows. Rabbit hole time, guys. Let's do... Oops, not that. What am I doing? Oh my god. Cannot type today, guys. Actually, let's... let's also... Throwing weapons is dumb anyway. So the benefit of thrown weapons is that you could have a shield up and still throw a weapon, right? So having it as a crit range makes it infinitely better than a bow, because you could have a shield and throw a spear or throw a dagger, right? So that's why I am justifying having bows as 19 to 20 and a ×2, and thrown weapons as just ×2. And you have the benefit over crossbows because, like I said, you can have a shield. You get what I mean. I also need to doink, and doink. I don't really want to get into hand crossbows. Because yes, hand crossbows are kind of weird, if you ask me. Because yes, it only takes one hand to fire a hand crossbow, but in reality, it takes two hands to you get what I mean? Like it, like, where's another pen? Right. So like, let's say these are my crossbow handles, my hand crossbow handles, right? And I shoot them, or let's say that this is a shield in my hand or something, right? Or it doesn't matter. Like, I shoot my hand crossbow. Now I have to, like, grab the string and pull it back with, like, not my full hand strength. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, guys. It just doesn't make sense. So, screw hand crossbows. We don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about it. It could just be under regular crossbow, and yeah. If you don't like it, you can write your own system with blackjack and hookers. I don't know, I'm kind of liking how this is... I kind of... Oh, Jesus Christ, Fox. I see what you're saying, Fox. So Fox is saying add a third combat zone. So I have 3 concentric rings of combat. And so, like, if you have a pole arm, it can reach into the center combat zone. Nope. I'm not going down this rabbit hole, guys. I'm not gonna go down this rabbit hole. I think we've made it, because that's one more thing that will cause players to take too long on their turns, and we want to reduce the amount of time that players are on their turn, right? So I like the thinking, but I think it just makes things way too complicated. I mean, I'm liking this so far, guys. I'm liking this so far. I like what we've come up with today. Now, the only question is, what else to do? Because this is all I have planned to talk about today. But I want to keep this going for a little bit longer. It's only been an hour and 40 minutes. Actually, let's go, since I did want to talk about hit points. You know, we did talk about hit points already once. Let's go back to this guy here, hit points. Hit points, you fall unconscious. Yep, every turn you fall below, you're below 1 HP. Yes. You are stabilized. Stabilized, you can again. You could be stabilized by a healing spell or by another creature. Check. Oh, example. Oh, I never did specify. Okay, I did not specify how far below HP you are until you bleed out. Every turn you are below 1 HP, you lose 1 HP per turn until you stabilize. Once you hit... Okay, what do we want the lower bound to be? I mean, I know my example uses 3 here, but I kind of like 3 for the... Let's so... Hold on. Yeah, so once you hit -4 HP, also, maybe I should think about the wording. Instead of you. Because the player doesn't fall unconscious, the character does. Character falls unconscious and begins... Oh. Falls unconscious. Every turn... is below 1 HP. turn until it is stabilized. If your character it will begin to bleed out again and hard to stabilize. Can be stabilized by a healing spell. This again. From a healing, if you are a -3, you require 13. Succeed on the check. If your character is, oh my god, how many times am I gonna type T instead of an R? Stabilized. It was at being stabilized. Wait, your character is stabilized at whatever HP. Oh, right. So, like, if you're at, like, if you are stabilized. No, I don't like that. Your character is stable. Oh yeah, I do like that because. Character. Character stabilized. And is at 0 HP. And there should be a when in there. When your character is stabilized, comma, its HP is set to 0. Your character hits -4 HP. Game over. They die. Good enough. Or is it dies? I guess that's the proper English would be it. I mean that's what, like 90. This is like 90% of writing your own system is checking grammar and wording things so they're not ambiguous, right? Like that's the majority of the work that you do here. I need an English major to give me a hand. Yeah. Oh right, okay. We need to talk about Scout now. So Scout is rogue, right? And Scout has sneak attack, right? You may you may add 1 damage for each scout level divided by 2, rounded up to the damage. Calling it just damage kind of feels icky, right? All right, so like this is, so I mentioned before that I wanted everything to be, you know, you get to choose your own adventure for your features, except for the very first feature that you get for your class. Like that's the only class feature that you get, right? So like warriors, they get an extra feature, like 5th edition or 3.5 fighter. Scout, they get, I think I mentioned this earlier, but you know, they get sneak attack, right? Yeah, priest gets divine spellcasting, and mage gets arcane spellcasting, right? Also, I bet people are wondering out there why priest has the same HP as scout and not the same HP as mage. That's because priest, if we go over to the, actually let's go over to the features, right? Priest. Priest can be, yeah, there we go. Smite. So basically priest is a combination of paladin and cleric from Dungeons and Dragons, right? So if you want to go more of the, you know, spell casting route, right? You would go down the, you know, you would take features that help you more for, you would take features that, I hate losing my train of thought, that help you with your spell casting, right? Or with your healing ability, right? Like healing adept, right? Oopsies, don't want to do that, right? Or potent healer. Where like if you want to go more down the paladin route, you would, instead of putting points into your mind score, you would put points into your body score, for your like going sword and board, right? Or whatever. So yeah. Yeah, so if you guys were wondering about why priest has a higher hit point pool, that is why. Right. That's one thing that I was thinking about before. So, damage types here, I mean, your standard affair. But the last two, light and dark, those are kind of like, that's what I'm looking for. Radiant and necrotic, right? But I don't want to call them radiant and necrotic. I mean, maybe I'm just being overly cautious about this, but you know, stepping on Watsy's toes, right? I mean, I probably already am stepping on Watsy's toes, but they can't, yeah. You guys get what I'm saying. I don't know, I'm gonna actually give that a little highlight there. Right, so in this system, right, I like advantage and disadvantage from 5th edition, right? But sometimes it feels a little too good. Right, so I've created a system called edge and detriment, right? So basically, it's just if you have the edge, you get a +5 to whatever you're doing. If you have a detriment, you have -5. They don't stack Extra, do I have it? Various effects. Edge. Okay, right. So, and it's also not a straight, you have edge and detriment that cancel each other out. No, like it's, if you have, and this is one of my problems with, advantage and disadvantage in 3.5 is like, let's say you have 3 things giving you advantage and 1 thing that gives you disadvantage. So for this, it's a matter of, oh, I have 3 things that are giving me disadvantage and 1 thing, or 3 things that give me an edge, 1 thing that gives me a detriment. Well, now I have, 2 edges, right? So I have the edge, right? Hopefully that doesn't slow down. So my only concern about this is that it will slow down combat too much. So that's the only thing I'm worried about, is that will slow down combat too much. But I don't think it will, because for one, most of the time having like, I don't give out, like, I haven't done too many things that do, at least I don't remember giving the edge, like having a lot of features that give edges and detriments. I don't think. Watch, as I look here, I'm probably gonna get like a gazillion things. But now that I've settled on how I want to handle weapons and damage and things like that, I want to take some time to go through the features that I've already come up with and make sure that everything's still kosher within this new ecosystem that we've created here. So weapon focus, yep, weapon focus, +1 to the attack roll, so that's fine. Yep. Alright, just took care of that, I mean, yeah, I'm worried about the wording in that, but whatever, screw it. Improve 2 weapon fighting. Ah, yes, okay. So that's fine. So basically, that's just saying, so like right now in 5th edition, if you're 2 weapon fighting and you use your attack action to attack twice, you only get 1 attack with your offhand. Basically, this would let you attack twice with your offhand. Extra attack, death strike. Okay, that's just undercutting resistances. Ah, here we go. Deal 1 extra damage. And I do think I want to. I'm contemplating anywhere where it talks about damage and hit points. I might rename it to something else later on, but okay. Anyway, oh yeah. Anytime you guys see an X here, that's just because I haven't determined the arbitrary number of things that I want people to use per day. Yep. Shit. Okay. That might have to go. When making a mana, use 2 mana to deal. Let's just say 2 for now. 2 light damage, but that has me concerned because that's going to be maybe it's just 1 extra point of damage. I need to think about that better. Because right now it's you know. Yeah, that way you're not, because I don't want you to be able to smite on every turn as well. So yeah, let's keep it at that. Yeah, I need to think about this better actually, but whatever. Let's just keep going. Mind score, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Oopsies. Let's just make it 1 for now. I'm gonna highlight this. Do I need to highlight this? Because that definitely should be needs to be 1. That needs to be reworked. Once per turn when you cast 1 mana cost. That's fine. Once per turn when casting a single target. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We don't really care about that anymore. That's fine. Yeah, so like the only problem with things like this, right, with ignoring damage resistance, right, it's only really gonna matter for things that have more than 1 hit point, right? Actually, maybe resistance means something totally different in yeah. Do I talk about resistance anywhere here? Damage resistance. Let's just make a glossary real quick. Oopsies. Resistance. So what do we actually want resistance to mean, right, guys? Because, like, in 5th edition, it's reducing damage by half. But we aren't always doing... So, like, thinking back to over here, right, is we're ignoring resistance. Well, that you're only doing 1. Okay, maybe you're casting a higher level spell, right? And that damage won't be. So it's only gonna matter when you're fighting boss monsters or big bad evil guys, right? And maybe that's fine. But it's a matter of how. So, like, let's say you're casting a 1 damage spell at a boss monster, right? And it has resistance. Well, now it either does nothing or it does 1 point of damage. But if you have this feature, then it's doing 1 damage still, right? Like, because usually, well, it's usually rounded down. So if you're casting, if something has resistance and you cast 1 point of, okay, yeah, okay. That might not actually be an issue. I'm gonna keep it yellow, but that might not be an issue. Because if you want to be able to do more damage to big bad evil guys, then then you would take that. It's not like it costs you more mana; it just costs you a feature slot. Okay. Yep. Right. This brings up a point about this. Combat casting and like it doesn't. Well, I guess it does exist in. Never mind. Never mind. It does. Yeah. So just like in 5th edition, you get disadvantage when casting a spell. Now you don't. Yep. Yeah. 3.5 was different. 3.5 you would take attacks of opportunity by casting a spell in melee, but there are no reactions in this. No reactions. You only get a move and an action. Unwind spell, yep. Basically counter spell. So that's another thing you'll notice is I have a bunch of spells that, you know, things that look like spells as features. That's because a lot of them oh right, this is dispel magic, not counter spell. So I want to have the number of spells that you can take per day kind of low, or not take per day, but the number of spells that you have in your, like your known spells, right? I want that to be kind of low, right? So what am I trying to say here? Right, so because things cost mana, right? I don't want, and when you're not in combat, right? Because remember, a round of combat is 6 seconds. And let's say that there's a whole bunch of magical, like, let's say you're in a dungeon, there's a whole bunch of magical traps, right? Well, if you have Dispel Magic as a spell, right? And it's just, your mage could just sit there, dispel that one, dispel that one, dispel that one. Oh, I'm out of mana. Okay, I'm gonna wait X amount of seconds until I have enough mana to keep... You get what I mean? Right, you could just... So, limiting things per day, so having spell-like abilities, but limiting them per day, is my workaround for that. Oh, right. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. So, basically, since I don't have reactions, there's no detriment to moving between zones in combat. So, I had to add a detriment, which is you can't attack. If you're moving between zones, you can't attack. Because you're busy defending. Right? Except for rogues or scouts. They can attack and move between combat zones. If they want to take this feature. Heavily armored, yeah. I saw this glaring at me. You know what? I think I can just There. Fixed. Actually, I'll say this. If you are fighting someone with armor, and you punch them in the face, and they have a helmet on, you're not gonna hurt them. You're just gonna break your fucking hand. Damn it, I'm cursing you again. So for this, I'm just gonna say 1 damage, because you know 1 damage is 1 damage is 1 damage. So you have to take this feature to use unarmed fighting too. I mean, you can. So yeah, I'm not saying that in the system you won't be able to use unarmed fighting to subdue someone, but you're not actually going to be doing damage to them. I guess. I'm going to need to make a whole section about unarmed fighting. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to keep it like this. This is fine. This is fine. Where's that meme when you need it? Okay. Fighting spirit. This. Make a strength save. With a 5 plus. Well, that's always going to be like 1. So. Well, actually, wait. What's the Thanks, Fox. What was I looking for? Oh, right, the general rules. So 10 plus the amount of damage taken. Let's go with that. So it's basically you let yourself do a healing check like we specified here, right? Before you pass out and die and start to bleed out. And I think that works. I think that's sufficient. It's not too overpowered because you only can use it once per day. Like if you are fighting let's say a big bad evil guy, and he can do a whopping 3 damage per hit, let's say, then it would be a 13, right? But most times it would likely be like a 11. Which is, better than 50%. Especially if you're adding your strength save. Especially if you're adding your strength score. But again, it's a once a day use, so I'm not too worried about it being overpowered. Plus, it's a 7th level ability. Like, a 7th level ability has to be pretty good, right? Making a healing check, the target brought back to 1 HP, the target knowledge. Yep, okay. That's like using the healer's kit in 5th edition. You gain only 1 feature. Oh, yeah, I like this feature. Man, how long ago has it been since I've worked on any of this? Or worked on some of these features, rather. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Doesn't break any rules of design yet. Gain edge on all text during the first turn. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty OP, but it is... It's like the assassinate skill, I guess, kind of. Oh, uh-oh. Yep, gotta rethink this one, guys. No. And... Just go plus... To any one die roll they make. There we go. Alright. So what's the damage? Yeah, we have a couple things that need to be rethought here. However, I think I determined that I don't need to worry about this guy. Yeah, that would be broken if you can do that. Surprise attack. Wait, wasn't there another red one somewhere else? Oh yeah, Delusion of Healing. Oh, interesting. This might be easy enough to... keep up with. This is the real problematic child. That one. And this one. Yeah. Okay, let's tackle this one at a time. So, Delusion of Healing, when casting against on another player or creature, gain half as many hit points restored. Since it might not be down for a minimum of 1. So that way, if, you know, a healing spell heals... Oh, that's a good point. It's all just gonna be straight numbers. That is something tricky to wrap your head around, isn't it? So a healing spell could heal like 3. It would just be a straight 3. Yeah. Yes, whatever. Actually, you know what? This is a pretty easy fix too here, guys. Casting a spell. Actually, wait, hold on. Oh, crap. Never mind. I forgot that potent healing is also problematic. Increase the healing of all spells by 1 or something like that. Wording, I mean something like that. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna put this back. I'm just changing the color of this, guys. The yellow. Wait, I saw something about rounding down. Oh, right. This is. Oh, right. Delusion. Yeah, we're good there. This might just need to go away. Yeah, that might just need to go away. Goodbye. But I do need to go over here. Select all. There's. Let's go over to the pivot table. Yes, I have a pivot table for this. Okay, so that was just impacting the number of any casters. That almost sounded... Yeah, no, that is... Anyway. Yeah. So I want to... So the reason why I have this pivot table, guys, is so that... you know, we kind of have an even number of features across all the different classes. As you can see, I already have 10 for Scout, Warrior, and Priest, and only 7 done for Mage. So I still need to do 2 3rd levels and 1 7th level for Mage. Which is fine. Like this, and this not being equal, I'm not worried about it, but I definitely need to think of 3 more features for mage. Let's check my notebook here. Oh man. I've written down spells and I'm like, oh, I gotta redo all these spells because most of them have like damage dice in them. We ain't doing damage. Where we're going, there are no damage dice. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about actually edit. Oh, okay. It automatically updated. Half the time when I guess it's because I did a remove row. It automatically updated that too. Okay, we're good there. Back to the sheet. Back. No, not back to there. Checking this stuff to make sure that there is no reference to anything other than d20s. Okay, back to this pain in the butt. This just be rolling your death strike damage during a surprise round, double the amount of damage. So like it's not technically a crit. That just kind of concerns me, right? Like, so like, let's say you're, let's say you're a 4th level scout, right? That's 2 extra damage, you know, that's 2 sneak attack damage, right? And you pop in on your big bad evil guy, they have... Oh wait, they wouldn't have this. Okay, let's say that they're 5th level for the sake of this thought experiment, right? You have your big bad evil guy. Your scout gets the drop on him. He would normally do so. His first attack gets the drop on him. So it's 1 for the weapon. 2 for the death strike, and then I need to reword that anyway. So I just want this to be the death strike damage doubled, so that would be 4 plus the weapon damage, so that's 5. Like if you're okay, actually that's not. That's not too concerned, because like let's say he has the same amount of HP as a warrior. Okay, yeah, that's like a quarter of his HP, but it's not like he's dead, right? So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's a matter of if you let your big bad evil guy get specced out in the first round of combat, that's kind of on you. Or your players just did a good job of sneaking up on your big bad evil guy. So I'm not too worried about it. I will say with the... Just made me think about the whole, you know, combat zone things. Like, let's say you, like, enter at the other end of like a throne room or something to go confront your big bad evil guy. Like, the whole system is... The whole, you know, combat zone system is more there to facilitate theater of the mind, right? Like, I don't want to get too hung up on the whole combat zone thing. I don't want it to make it too crunchy, right? But because it's more like to help visualize theater of the mind combat, right? As opposed to being a part of the... You get what I mean? Like, but I can go into the combat zones more at a later date. Oh right, there was still this one. So we're not rolling anything. Alright. Might just need a... Yeah, I'm just gonna yoink this. Shit, which one was that? I'm just gonna yoink Healing Adept. Cool, update. So now I have to make a new, third level priest ability. Although, we've been going what, for 2.5 hours now? I think that this is a pretty good place to wrap up for tonight, guys. What do you think? Got quite a bit done. We kind of ironed out here the hit points debacle and the weapons headache. So probably sometime in the meantime, I'm gonna, you know, type this up better than just list in a text document, right? But yeah, hopefully in the meantime, I'll also think of, or maybe next time we just try to brainstorm together another. Yeah, I think that'll be a good topic for the next time we stream this, is going over or trying to figure out a new feature to add to the priest feature list here, so we get that bad boy back up to 10. Because these, and maybe we'll do mage feature brainstorming as well. But it's getting kind of late for me, guys. So I think that's gonna do it for me. If you want to see more of this kind of live stream content from me, be sure to smite that like button, subscribe, and sneak attack that notification bell. But I had a great time with you guys tonight. But join us next time when we slide into DemDMs. Bye, guys.